Hello, hello, hello. My codependency free fam. Codependency free fam. That's what we are. Because we're claiming the victory in codependency. We're claiming codependency free because this is the path that we're going. This is the direction that we want to take. This is the experience that we want to have. It's something unlike that what we've ever experienced, maybe in our whole lives, the majority of us, if you're really codependent. This is not something that usually just starts up, but it's something that has been with us for a long time. And because it's been with us for a long time, it shapes the way we think. It shapes the way that we get into relationships. It shapes the way that we make decisions. And sometimes we're making other people's decisions and all this kind of stuff. So I'm starting off kind of raw today because I'm excited to talk about what we have to talk about. And I'm going to go on and set my timer here because I know I'll start running my mouth and go over. But I don't know why I'm so excited to talk about this topic. Um, because I guess I sense that you all um need to know information that is not may not be given to you. And a lot of this information is about the value of you, the value of yourself. Many of you have been discounted as far as you haven't been told or haven't been reassured or you haven't believed in within yourself about what you really bring to the table. And so when we start going through these steps like I've been taking you all through, to try to become more assertive, to try to speak up, to choose better relationship partners and things like that, something deep down inside kind of tells you that maybe not for me, maybe this can't work for me. And that's understandable because some of you all have been living this way for your entire lives. Like, I experienced codependency. It's funny because I have a supervision group because my day job is I'm a clinical professional as far as I do psychotherapy. And I was doing a little demo as I was teaching some of my supervisees that I trained to be able to do therapy and things like that. I was teaching them a little bit about the reality of codependency, and we were talking about some of these concerns. But I was just so proud because I read them a text that I had received from somebody, where you pretty much have to draw a line. You know what I'm saying? When you know that there's certain things you can and can't do, but this is something that I used to not do, and you will distress yourself. You'll go out of your way. You can be sick. Like I've had some things going on, and you will still try to push yourself to do things that you just aren't able to do. And it feels good when you can get to the point of drawing the boundary and being able to express what you can and can't do without fear. Okay. And so our topic today, let's get into the topic. The topic today is is about blame shifting. And so the question is what happens when you start to speak up? Because we've been talking about the build up to get to the point to where we can speak up, right? But the thing is that it is kind of scary moving up to that point. And I can't tell you that some of the things that you fear may not happen, but the thing is that when you have been renewed in your own thinking, you don't have the same fears. And then if things do go in a certain type of direction, you're already prepared. This is what we walk you through. This is what you learn. But just stay tuned, because if you listen, you can get some of this and you can start making changes like right now, immediately. Okay. So what we've been talking about is leading up to the point of being assertive now, and then actually expressing yourself. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about what happens when you start to speak up. Okay, let's just talk about the realities, because it's not always cozy and it's not always pretty. Okay, we don't always get the results that we want to get, because when you speak up, the problem is that many of us are the people that we're speaking up to are what we call narcissists. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with narcissists and what they are, and we're going to get deeper into talking about what that is. But most of you are going to be infested with narcissists or people with narcissistic traits. And people with narcissistic traits, when you speak up to them, it is predictable. You are right. Your way of believing about the outcome that would come about if you speak up is not far from the truth. The problem is you can't allow for yourself to be silenced the whole remainder of your life because of fear. Where has fear gotten you up to this point? I just want you to think about it. Where has fear gotten you? Have you had that person in your life that shows you the respect and appreciation, the person that you can be vulnerable to? Have you been able to get that? Why is it that you haven't received it and other people do, even like myself? What is it? Are you just doomed? Well, I'm going to tell you, the people that I work with, it's a turnaround. Okay? It's a turnaround. You don't have to get um extensive coaching to do this, but it's necessary to understand a mindset. Okay? Coaching to get you there faster, but it's a mindset. Okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But the reality is that many of you all have been surrounded by narcissists. These are people who are unapologetic. So if I approach you about something that harms me, that hurts me, that I don't like, that makes me feel uncomfortable, then guess what? You're not going to get apology. You're not going to get accountability. You're not going to get empathy. Because believe it or not, that is a characteristic that narcissistic people do not have. They're not even trying to be unempathetic. They're just not very capable of it because of their own insecurities. Um, and so, but what you're gonna get when you confront, matter of fact, you could play a game in your head. Just go on and get ready. I put money on it. If you're with, and you know, if you're with a narcissist or someone with narcissistic traits, the question you have to ask is, have they ever apologized to me? Okay. And that's probably going to be a no. And then if it is a yes, have they ever apologized to me without an agenda? In other words, it's something behind it. They're trying to get something. So they shoot out a quick apology. Right. Okay. So these are things. So what they are going to do is they're going to, when you confront them, they're going to shift things. Here comes the shift. We call this the blame shift. They're going to shift it to you, and you are going to become the one with the problem. How is it that I come to you about something that I'm having concerns with, that I'm disturbed about, and then just like that, it gets put back in my lap? And I'm not even going to say it's always intentional that the narcissist does this, or people with narcissistic traits, but it's a natural defense mechanism that they'll often do. Is they'll start to do a blame shift. In other words, it's not that I'm just blaming you for what you're doing, but whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm coming to you with, you shift that. You shift it and you create blame on me. You dump blame on me. And the reality is, they really think that you're the problem. You know, uh, I'm not gonna lie. A narcissist really believes that you're the problem. Um, Is that a defense? It could be a defense as well, but they really, most of the time, do believe that you're the problem. They believe that they're perfect. They believe that they're not flawed. That's why they don't apologize for anything. Okay. So they really believe that you're the problem. And let me tell you another problem. Guess who else believes it? You do. This is why the chemistry works between the narcissist and the codependent while we're in that codependent state before we make the shift. Okay? Because deep down inside, I believe it. So therefore, I am convinced easily by the narcissist because he can convince me and make me feel shame and make me feel blame. And then next thing you know, we're back to square one. I'm forgetting or regretting that I even came to you about a problem. So I'm just wondering, has anybody experienced blame shifting? Please, put it in the chat if you've experienced blame shifting, an example of what that is, because this will help someone else in the group. Because when we have the blame shifting thing, what's one of the thoughts that come to the mind? Man, am I crazy? Is there something wrong with me? But this just doesn't make sense. It's almost like, have you ever wanted to just bring on a third party? You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just have a third part, because this just or like, can I just record what you just said? Right? Because that blame, they know how to naturally work on your insecurities. Like, real talk, you can get rid of the narcissistic attraction that you may have, and just being able to just be in a relationship with just the simple fact of changing your mindset about yourself. Because the very thing, I talk about this all the time, the very thing that they're guilting and shaming you for is things based on your own insecurities. So when we learn to work through these insecurities, then no longer can the narcissist kind of dangle us around, because we don't believe what they say. And even if what they say is true, the words don't hurt me anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Because I know who I am. I know that even with my flaws, I have value, and I will work through it. Now, you can work through it with me as well if you have what's called constructive criticism. But the narcissist only has criticisms to leverage you into guilt, shame, backing off of them and not making them accountable, so that they can therefore move with their agenda. And you're sitting there so sad and like, what can I do for you now? Okay, so that's what we're shaking out of that. Don't feel bad about it, but this is where we're trying to claim the victory. So the blame shift, as I mentioned, is shifting the attention from themselves and shifting it to you, and doing this through a manipulative process. They're working on your mind. You have to understand that the narcissist has a sense that's better than what you will have when it comes to manipulations and seeking out, smelling out, sniffing out weaknesses in other people and exploiting them. That's something that you will never have, because you're not that low down. Okay. And because they have that, until the problem is corrected, then they will always be able to exploit you until a certain foundation is established, right? So we want to talk about, um who does this work for? And I've talked about that already. Who does the blame shift work for? Just think about that. If you're thinking outside of yourself, if this was somebody else and you're just not even thinking about your situation, who would that work for? It would work for somebody who believes it. If you believe lies, if you believe in a lie, it works for a person that will believe it, and you will keep believing it right now, unfortunately, until we make that shift. I had to make the shift. Tons of us make the shift. You don't have to stay, and it doesn't take that much. Okay. So let's talk about so I'm excited to talk about this, and we're gonna end it because we're already at okay, yeah. So let's talk about some examples of the blame shift. Okay. So here's a see if you experienced this one before. The narcissist. Here's a narcissist. You're always so selfish. You never think about anyone else's needs. This is what they're saying to you. And the reality here is that the narcissist is the one who consistently prioritizes their own needs. It dismisses yours. This is what we call projection. And the narcissist, what you will see is that many times, have you heard them say things to you that they're doing? That's a conscious and an unconscious guilty conscious coming out to blame you for what they're doing. Maybe they're accusing you of cheating, right? Here's another one that I get from clients sometimes. I'm going to need to explore my options with other women because you're not meeting my needs. I need you to lose some weight. That's a common one. Or I'm not getting enough sex from you. I mean, I'm needing it at least 2 or 3 times a day right now. We're kind of running behind. Okay. So have you had that? Hopefully not. You know. Anyway, we're gonna move past that. So that's another kind. How about this one? The narcissist. I never said that. What are you talking about? I never said that. You must be remembering this wrong. I never said that. I never said that. Reality, the narcissist did say hurtful things. Okay. But the problem was you confronted them about it. But did you expect them to empathize? Because that's not a characteristic of a narcissist. So that's an important thing for us to be able to define, are we with a narcissist or not? Then we can reevaluate what our expectations are of them. Now, narcissists traditionally don't change. I think God can change anything, and I've seen it happen. But to be honest, man, these mugs got some like demons or something in them. And some of y'all know it, okay, or whatever you believe in. But I believe in demons. They got demons in them, okay. And so that's what's going on, okay. So what's another one? Narcissist. It was a joke, man. Come on, man. You're tripping. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Oh, I know some of you all have heard that one. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? It was a joke. And this joke happened to be in front of company, and it happened to be demeaning, dismissive, embarrassing. You would never tolerate it yourself, because there's some things that I actually could embarrass you about, right? Because they're sensitive, right? Okay. So they minimize you. The narcissist made a hurtful comment, but is downplaying its impact to avoid taking responsibility. Okay. So this is a whole thing here. This is a whole thing what the narcissist often will do. And what we have to do is understand that the only way that this works is if my foundation and constitution is not strong. Okay. One of the things you want to consider is to just stick with, you got to write it down, write it on your hand or whatever. Stick with what you know is truth. This is the thing. If you can't identify and stick with truth for what you know it to be, that's going to be problematic. That's going to be problematic. So it's going to be important to understand and establish truth. But I just wanted to identify some of these things, that so that you can understand that, hey, this is very common. This is actually what we deal with quite a bit in coaching. I'm going to go on and close it out for tonight. I did want to drop these nuggets on you. Now, this is the thing. If you need some support with working through these scenarios to where this no longer keeps you bound, we have support. We have you don't have to see me. We have myself. I don't do that much coach, to be honest, but we have a team, and I'm going to introduce you to the team if you're interested in finding out about some of our coaching. So yeah, if you're interested, just drop something in the DM. Drop something like coach. Just say coach, and I will reach out to you. But we're gonna keep this coming. I appreciate you all for being a part of this group. We're gonna do this regardless, and we're gonna give you content that will help you to grow, because you can win. This is not an impossible thing. Like I said, I've been through it myself. I work with clients every day that get the win. I think the biggest part is just believing in the possibility. Have you considered the possibility that there can be a change? Have you considered that? Or are you willing to consider the possibility that there can be a change? And what are you at this point willing to do for you? Because you spend money on the boyfriend, the husband, the son, the daughter, the loved ones, the family. But how much have you? It's almost like, man, I can't spend on myself. Like, how much have you spent on yourself? Some of y'all not even doing self-care, and we talk about that. So the process of having this change and this renewing of the mind starts with considering the possibility that there can be a change. All right, I'm Troy Wise. I'm signing out. Thank y'all for being a part of the group. Y'all take care. All right, bye-bye.